Hello everyone. In this video, I will demonstrate how to use XLOOKUP to calculate the income tax using a tax slab table. This approach is very useful for accountants and analysts because it avoids nested if formulas and keeps the logic clean. Traditionally, people calculate tax using multiple if statements, which became messy and error prone. How do they write the multiple if statements? Let me demonstrate it. We call it nested ifs. It is written like this. We start an if statement and then we enter our first criteria or criterion. Then in the value of true, we'll start another if and we test the second criteria. And again, in value if true, we start another if statement and we test another criteria, and so on until all the criteria, or more specifically, we can say all the tax bands are entered. Okay. So what was the problem with this approach of using nested ifs? It worked, but there was a problem of data and logic combined in the same function. We have two things. We have our basic data, and then we have our logic to test the data. What is data? This is our data. These slabs, slab number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these fixed taxes and these percentages, this is our data. These 4 columns are data. This is called tax slab table. So this if statement, it combined the data as well as logic. So whenever you had to point out an error in the formula, you had to go to the all long formula. Say, for example, if there are 40 slabs, just for example, if there are 40 slabs, so you had to enter 40 different criteria. And at some point, you could have lost the track of track that which slab is remaining and which slab is not. So it worked, but it was inefficient. It was inefficient. Okay. But with the introduction of XLOOKUP, the problem has been solved. Now we maintain the data separately and then we write the logic somewhere else. So these two things are no more connected like they were in if functions. The logic as well as the data, they were written in the same function. So you had to work out the whole function whenever there were a change in either logic or data or logic. But now we maintain them separately. This is our data. And in a couple of minutes, we will write the logic. So let me clean the slate. So let's start working on our formula. For the purpose of this calculation, I have renamed this table as tax slabs. And the basic formula that we will use for our calculation is fixed tax plus annual income minus previous slab and multiply by percentage. Okay, so as we can see that our formula has two parts. The first part is fixed text, and the second part is this based on percentage. So let's solve a small calculation to understand how the tax slabs work. For example, our annual, or we can say our income per annum is 2 million. Let's change the color of this cell and move it right here. So as we can see that this 2 million falls in slab number 3. Yes, here. 2 million falls in slab number 3. So simply, if we calculate the tax, there is a tax of fixed tax of 6,000. Let's write it here. And a variable tax of 11% on amount exceeding 1.2 million. Let's break it further for clarity. This 1% will be applicable on amount exceeding 0.6 million. And likewise, this 11% will be applicable on amount exceeding 1.2 million, which is the end of previous slab. And this 23% will be applicable on amount exceeding 2.2 million. Excel did the rest for us. Let's correct the final one, 4.1 million. Okay, so these slabs, or these percentages are only applicable on the amounts exceeding the end of the previous slab, or on amounts which lie between the slabs. Okay, so we have annual income of 2 million. So we are calculating the tax. The fixed tax is 600,000, and on amount exceeding 1.2 million. So what is our previous tax rate band? 1.2 million, and 200,000 minus amount exceeding this, which is 800,000. So we will apply 11% on this 800,000. And our final tax liability is 600,000 plus 88. This side of 4,000 is our tax payable. Okay, so this is a small demonstration of this one. So now let's erase it and write our XLOOKUP. Our income is same, 2 million. Okay, first of all, we will work on the fixed part of tax of the formula, and then we will work on the variable. Okay, the percentage based. Okay, let's write our first XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP, the lookup value is our income per annum, and the lookup array is from our tax slabs table. Like I told you that we will use this from table, from column throughout our lookup, and we want the fixed column here. We want this column here. So again, let's move back to our formula. We again refer to the same tax slabs table, and we want the fixed column And this part, my friends, this is the most important part of the formula you need to understand. We are working with tax bands. We have annual income, which must lie somewhere in between the tax bands. And on the basis of this parameter in the XLOOKUP function, we will place our income within a tax band. Okay, so we want the exact match, or we want the next smaller item. Okay, because we want to remain in between the tax band. So we will use the option of -1. Okay, enter. As you can see that we have correctly picked our fixed text from the tax slab stream. Our income per annum is 2 million, which falls within the slab number 3. Okay, which falls within the slab number 3. And for slab number 3, we have a fixed tax of 600,000. So this means that our formula is working correctly. Let's verify this formula. This part of the formula, let's verify it. We change our incomes. For example, we write 599,000. It's showing 0 because this is our first slab. This lies in our first slab, which have a 0 fixed tax. Okay, now let's give it a proper full value. Again is 0. Now let's increase it by a single unit. Okay, again, between 600,000 and 1.2 million, again the fixed tax is 0. Now let's test all the limits of the slabs. Again, on 1.2 million, there are 0 fixed tax. Let's increase a single unit. Oh, you can see that as we have increased a single unit, we have a fixed tax of 600,000 because this amount is exactly this amount, the starting point of slab number 3. And this fixed tax will remain the same until the end of the tax slab. The end of the tax slab is 2.2 million. And by putting 2.2 million, we still are having the same amount of fixed tax. This means that the formula is working correctly. Let's move to the next slab, 3.2 million. You can see that amount is correctly picked. Now let's check it out for 4.1 million. It's picking the fixed tax amount correctly. Now let's also test the final slab by increasing a single unit of currency. Oh, you can see that by increasing a single unit of currency, we are moving to the next slab, and the formula is picking the correct amount of fixed tax. So we are done with the first part of the formula, and we have also tested it, and it's working correctly. Now let's move on to the second part. Okay. Second part is, let's write it. Second part is annual income. Here is our annual income. Let's put double parentheses. Annual income minus previous slab end. So here is a technical point which you need to focus, or I will say this is the most important point of this discussion. As you can see that we are working on a slab basis. So if I say that the ending of previous slab is the beginning of the next slab, just with the difference of a single currency unit. Check here, it's 3.2 million. It's 3.2 million and a single unit of currency. let's, for our calculation purpose, we assume that this is US dollars. Okay, so this is 3.2 million and a single US dollar. Okay, so these are same with the difference of single currency units. So to our advantage, instead of using the previous slab, and we can use the current slab start with a small tweak. Let's amend our formula, our base formula. Let's amend it to our need. Instead of using the previous slab, and we will use the current slab start. But as you can see that the current slab start is bigger than the previous slab end by a single rupee. So we will deduct a single rupee. We will deduct -1 over here. We will deduct -1 over here. And this will mean the same thing as picking the previous slab end. So now let's write this in our formula. Okay. Now let's calculate the second part. We start with the parenthesis. Okay. Annual income minus current slab start. Here is the start of current slab. So how do we know which slab is the current slab? Again, we find it with the help of XLOOKUP. Again, we search this income within our text slabs table, and our base column is from, and this time this is our base column, and this is our base column, or this is our lookup array, and the same is our return array, because we want the same starting band. We want this figure, the starting rate bands, these. Okay, and we will adjust it for one currency unit. Again, text slabs from. Okay, so this is our, and again we will use the -1 logic. We want the exact match or the next smaller. Okay, so now let's check it out. Close it. What's wrong with the formula? Oh, there is nothing wrong with the formula. Let's go back to our income. We write it 2 million. Okay, so now check it out. Let's verify if our calculation is right. Our income is 200,000, and it lies within third band here. Okay, so the starting point of this rate band is 1200. 1. This leaves us with 7. Let's calculate it. Okay, this leaves us with 799,999. But what is our actual previous band ending? It is 1.2 million. So we have to add back 1 to arrive at 800,000. Okay, so we will apply the same logic in this formula here. So let's correct it. H5 this is our annual income, XLOOKUP. So we add plus 1. We add 1 here. So here the formula is corrected. You might be wondering that here, over here, we deducted -1. But it's simply when you open this bracket, this -1 will convert to +1. Okay, or if you want to change this formula, we can even change this formula. If you remove this parenthesis and you close this parenthesis here, then simply you can change the symbol to +1. Okay, that's what we did in this formula. Okay, now we have arrived at the excess amount. This is our excess amount on which this 11% will be applied. So now, again, we will use this XLOOKUP to calculate or find the exact percentage. Okay, so the formula is we multiply this whole thing with XLOOKUP. Again, we look up this income perennial within text slabs table, and our base lookup column is from, and this time our return array is the same from the same text slabs table, but this time we want this percentage here. We want this column. This is our target column. So text slabs, here we specify percentage column. Okay, and again we use the same logic, -1. Okay, it's done. So when we, let's look at here, when we multiply 800,000 with 11%, it is equal to 88,000. And look at here, we have the same figure. Now, if we add these two, we will get our final tax calculation, 94,000. Okay, so, but still we are halfway. We have to combine these two parts of the formula, this part and this part. We have to combine them. So simply we add them. You take this part, you add an extra parenthesis, and you just copy them, and here you can simply add it with this formula, and this will give you 94,000, and that's done. Now you can remove this part. You can clean everything up. Let's clean our slate. Okay, so now let's test our formula. Say, for example, we have an income of 600,000. We have 0 fixed tax and 0% 0% variable tax. Now let's jump to the next slab. We will use the ending of the slabs. This table, this column, For testing purpose, we will use this column. First we use 6,000, then we will use 1.2 million. Look, at 1.2 million, let's calculate it. At 1.2 million, verify this if it's calculating correctly. Our income is 1.2 million, and let's deduct the previous scale ending. Our excess is 600,000, and we will multiply this with 1, and this multiplied by 1%. It's 6,000. It's okay. Good. That's great. Now let's move to the next band. 2.2 million. Here we have 116,000. Look at this. Now let's verify if we are calculating it correctly. We are in slab number 3. Now 2.2 million is here. This is 2.2 million. Okay. Fixed tax is 6,000, and variable tax percentage is 11%. Okay. So now let's calculate this manually. We deduct previous band ending. We have 1 million in excess, which will be subject to an 11% tax. It's 110%, and plus add this fixed tax, 6,000. Let's add them. Yes, 116,000. It means it's calculating. Okay. Let's move to the next stage. We change it to 3.2 million. It is 346,000. What is the previous band's ending? It's 2.2 million, 1 million in excess. This time, it is subject to a fixed tax of 116,000 plus 23% of amount exceeding 2.2 million. So instead of 11%, we will apply 23%. And the fixed tax is 116,000. Here it is, 346,000 and 346,000. It's working correctly. Let's test the final slab, 4.1 million. Okay, 3.2 million will be the ending of previous rate band. It's 9 million in excess. This time, it is 346,000 fixed tax plus 30%. Let's write it here. 346,000 fixed tax plus 30%. So here, instead of 20%, we will write 30%, and the fixed tax is 346,000. Look at this. We did something. Oh yeah, this is 346. 616 and 616. So this means that our XLOOKUP formula is working correctly. And now you can simply use this formula. You can simply copy it. Okay, and you can paste it anywhere, anywhere throughout the workbook. For example, we go to the next sheet. This is our next sheet. Here on this sheet, we create some income data. Say, for example, we have a payroll calculation. This is our name, income, and tax. Okay, so name is John. The next name is David. and then there is Carol. Okay, so John's income is say for example 800,000. David's income is between, it is 2.6 million, 2.6 million. And finally, Carol has an income of, let's say, 3,300,000. Okay, so now in this cell, we want to calculate their tax per annum. Okay, this is their income per annum. Okay, let's give it a little bit of formatting for easy legibility. Okay, so we can simply go here. Our formula is, you can Control A, Control C, and you can simply paste it here. Okay, it's not working. It's giving the wrong answer because the reference, the lookup value, we have to correctly reference the formula. So in order to calculate tax here, we have to reference this cell. It is C4. This cell is C4. So let's correct our formula. Change all this H5 to C4. You can do it manually as well as you can do find and replace. So let's do find and replace. Okay, replace. Options and replace. Find what? Find what? H5. Find H5 and replace it with C4. C4. Okay, look into formulas. Find all. Yeah, it has find one result and replace all. Okay, that's okay. That's done. You have to do it just a single time, because after that, when you drag the formula down, Excel will reference it, auto reference it. Okay, and you do not need to do anything. So now drag the formula down. Look at this. It's doing great. For 800,000, now the formula is very stable. You do not have to change anything within the formula. In future years, if there is any change in the tax rates, tax slabs, you can simply go and change the values here. You can simply, for example, let's clean this up. Let's clean this up. Okay. Okay. If there is any, in future, if there is any change in the tax slabs, any figures is changed, any percentages are changed, or a fixed tax is changed, you do not have to amend any logic or amend any formula, make changes to your formula. You simply have to change your data. For example, if you want to add a next slab, this is an Excel table and it will extend itself. Okay, this is 7th slab. For example, we have used, we say that the next slab ending is 5.1 million. Okay, 5.1 million, and it is a 35% rate. And after 5.1 million, we just add a new slab, and this is infinity. And let's say, for example, we calculate the fixed amount. It's 5. It will be 966,000. And say, for example, the rate of tax is 40%. And the next slab will be in excess of 5.1 million. So without changing any formula, without changing any logic, we simply added a new slab to the same table. and let's check if it's working. Our income is 5.1 million. And as I increase a single currency unit here, it will change, but let's give it some decimal places. Yeah, that's right. And it's 96000. Look at this. The fixed tax is 966,000 plus there is a single rupee. So on that single rupee, 40% tax is applicable. And for example, if you add 100 rupees, 1000 rupees, it will be, yeah, on 100 rupees, extra 100 rupees, on extra 100 rupees or dollars or whatever, you will pay 40 rupees tax at the rate of 40%. So this is working correctly. Let's check it here. We add another person, say for example, Watson. Okay, Watson has an income of 5.1 million, sorry. Control C, Control V. Look at this, it's working. And you do not have to change any formula, any logic. You simply have to make changes within this data table. So this concludes our today's demonstration. It's a very useful tool, XLOOKUP, for these kind of lookups where you have frequent changes into your data year over year or month over month. And each time you need to change your data, then if you were using the multiple if statements, the nested ifs, then each time you had to change your logics, your data, the whole function. You have to build it from scratch. But with this approach, you have to make your function just one time, and then you have to reapply it and only make changes to your data. Thanks for watching. If there are any queries, you can ask in the comment section. I will be coming with more Excel useful videos for daily use or for accountants and analysts. Thank you very much.